Realtree's Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by Cuddyback, Drake Non-Typical, Easton Arrows, Frigid Forage, Fuse, Grizzly Coolers, Hoyt, RK Tractors, Ozonics, Redneck Blinds, Wasp Archery, and Realtree.
Today we're going to be resetting a stand in a location that we used last year, and we're on one of our several plots on the farm, and this is just straight soybeans, but we have a stand just off the field edge, and what you have is you have creek behind me, you have bedding on either side, and we have really good access right through here. Hopefully you'll see a lot of this stand this fall. We have a cuddelink node right behind here, and that's keeping a close eye on this food plot, what's coming and going. Right now, not a lot of buck activity, but that's not uncommon for this part of the farm. We really start seeing more of that as we get into October, when we have these bachelor groups breaking up and looking for their areas that they're going to hang out this fall in search of does. I want to talk a little bit about a deer on this farm we call Thick. We have a history of him back to 2017. Had quite a few pictures of him in 2018 as well. We've never had an in-person encounter with this deer. He occasionally is a daylight walker, but he really exploded last year. His name was Thick originally because of his body size, because of his antler mass in 2017, and he just blew up in 2018. He was a fabulous deer. In fact, one of my neighbors had an encounter during archery season before the Illinois gun season and grazed this deer. Didn't do any damage. The deer continued on through the season all the way up, right up until shed season, right up until he lost his antlers. And so really excited about this deer on this farm this year, to see what he's done in terms of increasing antler size, because again, he really is a spectacular deer. As far as other deer on this farm, really no other named animals that we could speak of. It just seems like after EHD some years ago, it just seems like it's taken time for this area to recover. Fortunately this year, unlike other areas of Illinois, Iowa, and other parts of the Midwest, it doesn't seem like we've been hit by EHD. Thank goodness, fingers crossed. Let's hope it stays that way. But to speak of, there's really going to be one prime target on this farm this year that we will be after. Obviously, we hope that other nice targets show up, similar to last year, the Big 9 that came from a few farms away, it turns out. Found out that was someone else's target deer that came in here for a few days. But we'll keep you up to date on the new deer moving in, and hopefully having an in-person encounter with Thick this year. Now I want to talk a little bit about this cuddelink system by Cuddyback. Here I have a J camera with an antenna and with rechargeable batteries with the solar panel. And what this does is, this isn't a cellular camera. This sends via daisy chain to other cameras in the network, and eventually back to the home base or home camera, and you can have up to 16 of these in one network. And what's neat about it is, each network requires just one cell plan, one really affordable cell plan, and so this way you can have multiple cameras, one plan, and you're able to watch big chunks of your property. So this to me is one of the biggest game changers in the hunting industry in a long time. It really helped last year, helped me harvest the Big 9 that I killed. Wouldn't have known that deer was there when it was there without this. It was a nomadic deer. We had no history whatsoever with that deer. We knew when he showed up, he was only there for 6 or 7 days prior to harvesting that deer. And we had a really good idea where he was in the daytime because of this system. So wanted to point this out, really talk about the benefits of it. Really a game changer in the hunting industry.
Hi, and welcome to Midwest Whitetail, the Heartland. Today we're out at my uncle's farm, and we're in the process of getting our trail cameras out. So I'm going to get our trail cameras set up, and then we're also going to put some corn in front of them to help us get a quick inventory of what's living out here. Like I said last time, for whatever reason, this property doesn't hold a lot of mature deer in the summer, but right around mid to late September is when we start to see some mature bucks showing up. So we hold off on cameras until then. So it feels pretty good to get out here, get the cameras going, and get a good idea of what'll be living around here. So today that's the main goal, to get the cameras out. We'll check some food plots too, see how those are coming up, but just getting in our final prep for the season today. So should be a good time, and hopefully we get some mature deer on the camera soon. I wanted to give you guys a little update. This is a plot we put in about 2 weeks ago, and as you can see, it's coming in really nicely. It's already pretty lush, and it's only been a few weeks. We got lucky with some timely rains. I think we got about a ½ inch of rain right after we planted it, so it's looking really good. And this is an area that we have a buck we call High Top, and this is actually his shed we found this spring about 200 yards away, and had an encounter with him last year as well. We thought he was a 3-year-old. Primarily we got most of his pictures of last year, so we put in this food source here to hopefully concentrate him a little tighter to this area, really start trying to narrow in on where he likes to hang out, and hopefully where we can get a good opportunity on him this fall. Well, this is an area I'm pretty excited to get a trail camera in. It's actually an area that recently we've had a lot of good mature deer end up in this area. My deer I shot last year called Hawkeye ended up running to here to die, and we also found a mature deer called Packer that was dead, what it looked like from fighting last year in this area. And then the buck I killed 2 years ago we found dead in this area, and then also on top of that I found High Top shed in this area. So I just want to get a camera in here before the season starts, let it go for about 2 weeks, and get a good assessment of what's potentially living in here. And then we'll get the camera out, take everything out, probably won't even walk in here until November again to hunt it. So I want to keep this area relatively undisturbed, but at the same time I want to see what's living in here before the season gets going. So we'll get some corn out here, get our trail camera set up, and hopefully have some mature deer to show you here in a few weeks.
Well, welcome back to another episode of Midwest Whitetails, the Heartland Show. Today is September 21st, and out here on my farm with Brad this morning. We still got some tree stand work to do, which we started out this morning with, and got some scrape trees that I want to freshen up and get put in, some plots, and we also got a redneck soft shell blind to get set up today as well. So in the meantime, we're taking a little break in the work today because we got a big front coming through. We're about to get quite a bit of rain and some storms, so we're going to cut some arrows down, some full metal jackets, and I also wanted to give Brad a chance to kind of introduce himself. You know, I'm sure you guys have seen him over the years on the show. He's been filming me now for 4 years, maybe even 5, but this year his role is going to expand a little bit, and I'm really excited about it, and I know he is. So just wanted to take a second to kind of let Brad introduce himself and tell you a little bit about what's going to go on for him this year.
As Kane said, I'm Brad Huizenga. Filmed for him for 5 years now. Hopefully taking a little bit more bigger role in front of the camera this year. I've got 2 different bucks that I'm after this year. One I call Superstar. I've been after him, this will be 3 years now, just waiting for him to become mature. I've also got another non-typical deer. Don't have a name for him yet. He's cool, but I'm not quite sure on maturity yet. So once everybody sees him, get a little feedback. It'll be interesting to get him on front of the camera this year too. They've been real active on trail cameras and everything, so hopefully everything this year pans out. I'm excited.
Well, Brad and I are putting in this first licking branch here, scrape tree, I guess, if you will. We got the redneck blind, as you can see here, and we're going to put this tree about 20 yards away. And I know we've talked about it, and a lot of guys have talked about it in the past, but the big thing with these trees, and we'll show you when we get it up, is you want to make sure that your branches are facing the right way so those deer are giving you a nice quartering away shot or even a broadside shot, whichever you prefer. So we're gonna get this one in the ground. We're in between rains again, and then move on to the next thing. All right, well, Brad and I just wrapped up our work. We didn't get to bring you guys as much of the work as we wanted, but we hung a new stand, and we also, resituated one in a tree, and then as well as the scrape trees, which we actually did get a little bit of the scrape tree before. As you can see, we got pretty wet. So this is the first time it's stopped raining since we got to the farm and did our opening interview this morning about 8 o'clock, and it's almost 3 now. So regardless, it's the Friday before opening day. So here in Illinois, we'll be hunting on Tuesday, October 1st, and I'll be out with Emma, maybe Grayson, and my wife even. And Brad will probably be doing his own thing. So
Yep.
So Brad will be out, and probably that weekend or the following week early, Brad and I will get together and do one hunt together, and we kind of just work out the kinks as far as the camera and getting set up in the tree for the first time that year. And then I'll be laying low, and then hopefully you're seeing a lot of Brad after that, and he's bringing you some good stuff. So thanks for watching this week's episode of the Heartland Show, and hope everybody has a great opening day, opening week, and has a good season. So good luck to everybody out there.